couple days ago, Retro Sheet updated, and now they have play-by-play, or enough play-by-play, deduced play-by-play, for every Federal League game in 1914 and 1915. So, what better way to celebrate than to play this quiz that I made, asking you to name every Federal League player from 1914. This is the only... I haven't made one for 1915 yet. And I don't remember when I made this. But it had to have been more than 6 months ago. So I'm not going to remember any of the players from making this quiz. But I probably won't get more than 50. But I figured that I should do it to celebrate the updating of Retro Sheet. Also, I'm probably the person who cares about Retro Sheet updating play-by-play logs more than anyone else, because I just think it's cool. And yeah, it's a little bit like I can go back and watch these games, even though you don't really get the whole experience from reading the play-by-play, because you don't know if someone made some great catch or something, or you don't know any of the little things that you would miss from just by looking at the play-by-play. But I still think it's pretty cool. So let's go. Let's see. Ed Roush. Okay, so I made it the whole name, I guess, I agree with that, because I don't want someone typing in Jones and getting 4 players that they don't know. But Davy Jones, and let's see, Bill McKechnie, Benny Kauf, Max Flock, I think that was how you pronounce it, I'm not entirely sure, Jack Tobin, aka Johnny Tobin, Les Mann, it was 1915, Dutch Zwilling. For a very long time, he was the last player alphabetically in baseball history. Ad Brennan, Joe Tinker, Fred Jack Litz, Vern Duncan, Harry Jewell, yes, that was his real name, John McGraw, not the manager, but a different John McGraw, who played 1 year. There was a Cobb. That might have been on the 1918 Tigers. There was a Cobb. I get Joe Cobb. Did he play? No. Duke Kenworthy. Hal Chase. He was in the Federal League. Ward Miller. George Perring. Pete Henning. Al Bridwell. He was in the Federal League. So also I did this alphabetically, which is pretty good. Let's see. Ed Holly. Cy Falkenberg. I won't know as many of the pitchers. Steve Yerkes. Steve Evans. Ed McDonald. No. Tex McDonald? Yes. Was there also a Tex Wisterzill? There was. Let's see. Hack Simmons. Art Wilson. Al Wickland. Jack Leleveld. No. I know one of the Delahanty brothers played in the Federal League. No. Tom Delahanty. Frank Delahanty. Yes, Frank Delahanty. Let's see. Who else? Rebel Oaks. George Zetline? No. I don't know. I know he played around this time. I guess he didn't play in the Federal League this year. Let's see. Tom Jones. No, that was a random guess. Ooh, William Loudon. Baldy Loudon? No. Who's this guy I'm thinking of? Played for the Tigers, I think. Before going to the Federal League. I don't know. Let's think of some guys that were on teams before. It played in the majors before this. Art Griggs, I know, played. So did George Stovall. Bill Bradley, did he play? Yes. And then Fielder Jones, did he play in he did play in the Federal League. Chet Chadbourne. That is a great name, by the way. Chet Chadbourne. Such a good name. King Cole. Did he play in the Federal League? No. Fred Cummers. Yes. I knew there was a Cummers. Let's see. Pete Compton. No. I'm gonna recognize a lot of these players. Let's see. Armando Marsons. Yes. A lot of the 1916 Browns were on the 1915 St. Louis Terriers. So 1916 Browns. Anyone that I can remember. George Sisler, he did not play in the Federal League. Neither did Del Pratt. They definitely had a pitcher who was in the Federal League. Guy Zinn was in the Federal League. Hoosiers. His name's starting with a K. Fred Cap. No. Mike Simon. Yes, that's a good pull. Mike Simon. Let's see. Brooklyn Tip Tops. Beals Becker. This is the time I'm just going to name players that were in the majors around this time. Alva Williams. Charlie Deal. Charlie Pick. I already probably got Vern Duncan already, yeah. Probably a couple like Youngs. Raleigh Zeider. Yes. Okay, so 44 out of 216 would be 20%. Not exactly, but 20.3%. That's what I'm going to try to get. See, Gus Williams. No. Russ Ford. He did play in the Federal League. Let's go. Russell Ford. I don't know if that was his real name. Who else? Mordecai Brown was in the Federal League. Three Finger Brown. So let's see, there was probably another Brown who wanted the Packers. Kansas City Packers, that is. I should know more of the Hoosiers because they won the pennant in 1914. I know Benny Kauf and Cy Falkenberg and Bill McKechnie, but I guess that's pretty much it that I know from them. And Rebels. Danny Murphy played in the Federal League. Yes, Danny Murphy. The best Daniel Murphy in baseball history. Maybe. Not entirely sure about that. But one more and I'll be at 20%. And I'll be happy. Red Downs, no. Buck O'Brien, no. Mac Wheat, no. Ooh, Johnny Bates. Yes. 20%. Okay. I don't know. The A is probably like an Abernathy or someone. Or an Abbott. Adams. I don't know, but let's give up. I got 20%, so I'm happy with that. The average score is 7. The altitude, the way at. The altitude of your aptitude is astounding. So let's see. Who could I have gotten? Oh, there was a Fred Beck. I should have gotten Fred Beck, because I know Zinn Beck. I don't know if they were related, but Jim Blue Jacket, yes, if you can't guess, he was Native American. Let's see. Howie Kamnitz. Vin Campbell, I did know. He played for the Hoosiers. Felix Chouinard. I like that. It's a good name. Claude Cooper, I knew. Doc Crandall, I knew. Jim Delahanty also played in the Federal League. I definitely should have guessed him before I guessed Frank Delahanty. Mickey Doolin. How did I miss Mickey Doolin? Should have gotten that one. Dallas Drake should have gotten. Ted Easterly. Clyde Angle, who was the batter during Snodgrass Muff in the 1912 World Series. Let's see. Grover Gilmore, Pep Goodwin. These guys all had great names. Bob Groom. What was his nickname? His nickname was the Toothpick Twirler, which is, people don't have nicknames like that anymore. Claude Hendricks should have gotten. He was the best pitcher on those Chi-Fred / Wales teams. How did I miss Solly Hoffman? That was so easy, because he was a really good player in the majors. Should have gotten all of those guys who were really good. But one time, before the 1908 World Series, when Hoffman was on the Cubs, he was planning to get married like a day or two before the World Series started, but Frank Chance made him get married after the World Series ended, because he said that it would distract him. And it would distract the club, because a lot of those players were going to be at the wedding. And it worked, because the Cubs won the World Series. Let's see, Rankin Johnson, that's a good name. Otto Knabe, Gene Krapp. I should have remembered that one just because of the name. I do know who he is. Let's see. Ed Lennox should have gotten. Did I totally typed in William Loudon. I definitely did. I guess I need to change that to make it, I guess just William Loudon. Let's see. Mike Minosky was on the Rebels. Probably wouldn't have gotten that. George Mullen I should have gotten. He was really good for the Tigers. And let's see. Yip Owens. Okay. Gene Packard probably should have gotten. Probably because he was on the Packers. Jack Quinn, who pitched for like 50 years. Bill Raridan was a notable catcher. Al Shear. Biff Schlitzer. Tom Seaton I could have gotten. But all these Smiths. Chubby Snyder. No one's named Chubby anymore. Harry Swasina I definitely should have gotten. Mysterious Walker, that's a great name. Charlie Whitehouse is another good name. Kaiser Wilhelm is another good name. And yeah, so probably could have got like 7 or 8 more. But I am pretty happy with that. So I will see you guys soon.